The Madejski plays host to the final game of the season for London Irish and Sale Sharks. Two teams with nothing in particular up for grabs on day 22 of the regular season, but both of whom have already posted big intentions for next term, with a number of major signings to counter the departures that will take place. Sale see the departure of Dwayne Peel and James Gaskell, but will expect to push harder for a spot in the playoffs next term, with the arrival of, amongst others, Chris Cussiter and Nathan Hines. Henry Thomas is also making his final appearance in a Sharks shirt before moving to Bath. He's part of an entirely new front row this afternoon, with Harrison and Taylor coming in. Irish name aside, which includes the departing James O'Connor off to Toulon this summer. Shane Geraghty plays at 10 and captains the side after missing last week's clash with Gloucester through injury. Marlon Yard off to Quins next season, starts on the wing, and there's space on the bench for Ian Humphreys, who heads back to Ulster. Today's referee is Greg MacDonald, officiating over a Premiership match for the first time in his career. The assistants are Roger Bailiff and Andrew Pearce. The TMO is Ashley Rowden. Sharks are on a historic run away from home in the Premiership. They've won 5 on the bounce away from the AJ Bell Stadium. If they could finish on a high here today, naturally they'll extend that run to 6. The last time, though, they won at the Madejski was back in 2006. Sale won this reverse tie 15-3. Irish last one here back on the 13th of April. A 40 points to 12 win on that occasion at the expense of Falcons. All 40 points for Irish scored in the first half.
Come on then, please, Bob.
So it is Joe Ford making his first ever Premiership start. The brother of the highly impressive George Ford, who gets us underway, and immediately Marlon Yard is underneath it and brings it in to the safe to his pack. O'Leary out to the omnipresent Blair Cowan. Had such a fantastic season, the open side flanker. O'Leary now back to Geraghty, who hoists the up and under. The ball will be collected and brought back onto Sale's side by Tom Brady. And ferreting for the ball is Will Cliff. Cliff has support and ripped away by Mark Easter. Easter manages to just about cross the gain line, quickly over the ball. Cliff again. Fires it out, and Ford with an early touch. He has some support in the shape of Michael Patterson, who's had a huge couple of weeks playing for Sharks. Pretty big season as well from the Kiwi, but he's scored a couple of tries in their last 3 games against Exeter and the Tigers. The Irish defence once again stands firm and holds up play around halfway as Joe Ford hoists another up and under to the edge of the Irish 22, where it's collected by Shane Geraghty. Steadies himself and then drills a low kick into the wind, which finds touch on the 10-metre line there inside Sale Sharks territory. So a huge amount of departures from both of these squads. Both have much bigger intentions for next season. London Irish, of course, were right in the thick of the relegation scrap last season. They managed to avoid it for the lion's share of this season. Tommy Taylor in his 3rd season with the Sharks, who will take the line out here towards the front of the line, where it's well collected by Andrei Ostrakov, Russian international, another player in his 3rd season at Sale Sharks after arriving from Aurillac, and it's going to be a penalty awarded there against Nick Rouse, and the Sale Sharks will have the opportunity to kick down towards the corner. No, Danny Cipriani this afternoon, a player who's been attracting plenty of media attention as people clamour for his inclusion in England's trip down to New Zealand this summer. At the moment, the general consensus is that Cipriani should go, but probably won't. Touch is found then by Joe Ford in his first season playing for the Sale Sharks after moving from Leeds. Made 8 appearances off the bench so far this term and scored 19 points thanks to 5 conversions, 2 drop goals and a penalty. 23-year-old looking to impress on this, his first Premiership start. Tommy Taylor to the front of the line again, where Michael Patterson clutches the ball and is driven on well. In the end, it's brought down and the advantage is being played here. Drop goal to nothing attempted, and that one drifts just wide. Joe Ford just signals across to Tom Brady that he was aware what was going on there. Question being posed there to the referee about whether there should have been a yellow card brandished against Blair Cowan, but instead it will be the penalty. Now, what's Irish's decision here? The answer is that the Sharks will go to the corner, so London Irish's defence to be tested here. Good throw taken by Gaskell, popped off, and running around came Henry Thomas. He's well brought down. Taylor drives over the ball. Cliff has support from Mark Easter first of all. Easter drives in just shy of the gain line there, and Ross Harrison picks and goes. Tommy Taylor was able to go himself, but Easter picks up. He's well held up, but manages to recycle the ball into the hands there of the marauding Gaskell. Just a metre short. Cliff goes out wide, tries to use Patterson on great try-scoring form. Harrison burrows towards that line, held up just a yard short this time. They go again. Try is awarded. And those visiting Sale fans in great voice down on the near side. A succession of forward thrusts there. Harrison the next to go before finally wriggling clear was Easter to go over the line. His last try came on the 6th of November 2011. It's his first of the season, 5th start of the season for Mark Easter, the 31-year-old, playing in his 3rd season here at Sale since arriving from Saints, over in the corner to give Sale the early lead and continue this quite extraordinary away form that they've had this season. So first shot at goal for Joe Ford. Certainly not an easy kick, this one. Strikes it well and strikes it true. It's a fine kick for Joe Ford to open his account this afternoon, and it puts Sale into a 7-0 lead after just 5 minutes. Well, desperate attempts at defence, and in the end Ian Goff just a little slow to react as Easter peeled off. Mark Easter going over then for a first try of the season, and the Irish stadium announcer trying to get London Irish in motion now as the ball's collected by Tom Askett from the kickoff.
Use it!
Cliff heads back, and it's a decent clearance to take play up towards halfway. Taken quickly by Tom Homer into Geraghty. He had support with him here. First of all from Trevor Annis. Trevor Annis cuts through. Great run here from the South Sea Islander. Trevor Annis up towards the 22. O'Leary recycles to Geraghty. Flings it out wide. O'Connor into the line. O'Connor round 2. Beautiful ball out to Femby. Femby's clear. What a reply from Irish. And Femby goes over to level things up as long as the conversion is kicked. But a brilliant try from London Irish in reply to that early score from Mark Easter. A 5th of the season from Andy Femby. He scored a hat-trick against Falcons. His last try came against the Saints, and now he scores against Sale Sharks. Well finished off. Made by James O'Connor. Great handling skills from the Australian. One-handed to just offload to Femby. And congratulated by Marlon Yard first of all, and then his other partner in that back three, Tom Homer. Well, if the crowd were up for some entertainment, so far they've been rewarded. James O'Connor with what should be a relatively simple kick for a man of the Australians' talents to level things up at 7 points apiece. James O'Connor goes 1 from 1 like his opposite number from the kicking tee, Joe Ford. And The Sale Sharks lead lasted for less than a minute, riding the challenge from Cliff quite brilliantly before offloading to Femby. And Andy Femby, who scored all 5 of his tries this season in 2014, into touchdown once more. Ford with the restart. A steepling kick which is going to go straight into touch. And so it'll be back for a scrummage on halfway.
Scrum.
Well, disappointment there for Joe Ford would be that he hasn't exhibited too many nerves in this, his first Premiership start, but definite exhibition there of a man who is under pressure, and I'm worried about what people will think. Brings us our first scrummage of the afternoon. Matt Parr, Mike Mayhew and Leo Halavatau lining up against Ross Harris and Tommy Taylor and Henry Thomas. London Irish, of course, will be welcoming Chris Snokes at the start of the next season. The Auckland Blues 10s signed for a 2-season deal. So far, Sale Sharks' biggest signing. Luke McLean, the Italian winger. Trevor Annis in control at the back. Off to O'Leary. O'Leary drives the kick through for Marlon Yard to chase. It's going to find touch. Around 10 metres shy of the Sale Sharks line. An important defensive line out coming up for the visitors. Thomas O'Leary in his second season with Irish, exploiting the space vacated there at the back by the Sharks. So Tommy Taylor, first tough defensive line out that he's had to use, and he finds his man once again. Patterson has been a tower of strength so far in the line out. Little warning bark there at Jeb Sinclair. Will Cliff looks out, he's got Harrison in support. Sinclair's straight there, and a pile driving defensive tackle from Irish to send Sale onto the back foot, and Will Cliff has to try and steer the box kick here. Manages to get it away. And disappointment for Trevor Annis as his attempted catch goes into touch.
Scrum, lost forward, scrum option elected.
Well, the decision is that the ball was lost forward by the Sharks. Decent looking attacking position here for Irish. They're right out on that right hand touchline. They'll probably try and keep this tight through the middle, using the presence of James O'Connor or Fergus Mulcrone to take the ball into contact, giving them a more central position to lead their attack from the second phase of play. But instead they penalised Matt Parr and Leo Halavatau, attracting the consternation there of referee Craig McDonald. As a consequence, it's a free kick, and little tap taken by Joe Ford, and then he hoists the up and under with Tom Homer underneath it. Homer strides away and tries to straighten his line before being brought to ground. Sets the ball well. Trevor Annis getting over it. O'Leary flings it out to Halavatau. Halavatau through Seymour, carried forward again. Blair Cowan sets to O'Leary. They're looking to run it as much as possible. This time, though, Geraghty elects for the up and under. Well collected by Tom Askett, but he's caught in the tackle by O'Connor. Ball driven clear. And now Cliff can go down that short side where Tuatupu kicks it through towards Geraghty. Chases own kick, juggled there by Geraghty, who steadied himself before deciding to kick it from the edge of his 22. Finds touch. There was a chance there for a quick line out to be taken by Joe Ford, but in the end the standoff elects to keep the ball in hand, and we will wait for the line out to be taken just a few yards short here of the 10-metre line within Sale territory. approaching 15 minutes played here at the Madejski, and the score 7 points apiece. Try by Mark Easter coming after just 4 minutes for the visitors, converted from out on the touchline by Joe Ford, and from the kick-off Irish are running in an equalising try after the O'Connor conversion through Andy Fenby. It is Ian Goff, the veteran London Irish second row, who's attracting the attention there of the referee. 64 international caps, of course, in his first season with Irish after moving across from Ospreys. The maul well controlled by Sale. Paul Cliff looking for it, keeps it tight forward, waiting there on the shoulder of the advancing Jeb Sinclair. Mark Easter once again making good ground here though for the Sale Sharks. Sinclair in there to bring him to a standstill.
Immediately available.
Options for Cliff. Fired back, there's Ford, and just feeds it into the gap, but he puts it straight into touch. So another poor kick off the boot of Joe Ford. Just a few too many nerves jangling out there at present for the Sale Sharks standoff.
Yeah, hang on, about 2 seconds. Yes, please, Bob, time off.
Well, the first bit of treatment required here. Looks as though it's Ian Goff who's going to receive it. It looks as though he's just trying to get a little bit of extra time to do up his boot. 37 years of age, Ian Goff. Still enjoying his rugby, making his 10th start of the season. Managed to represent Irish 14 times so far in this season of 22 games. Referee wants Sale to straighten their line.
Push back, use your prop as the guard. Yeah, keep it low.
Ball well taken at the front of the line. The maul once again controlled forward there. Jeb Sinclair, the man who collected the ball in the line out. Trevor Annis now has it in hand. O'Leary quite happy for it to make its way cross-field. Trevor Annis still with plenty of support. And now Rouse joins him to drive in, and they try and straighten that drive with Blair Cowan. O'Leary wants it and gets it out to Geraghty. Geraghty misses to O'Connor. O'Connor with Homer with him. O'Connor tries to duck his way round. Manages to release the ball just in time for the referee not to penalise him. O'Leary fights clear and then straightens as he was being scragged. Thomas O'Leary trying to get the ball back. The penalty's awarded though to London Irish. Mark Easter penalised for coming off his feet. And Shane Geraghty, I should imagine, will elect to go at goal. And Greg McDonald echoes those sentiments by pointing at the posts. James O'Connor awaiting the arrival of his kicking team. So far this season, James O'Connor has amassed 95 points. So looking to get over 100 this afternoon. And it is one of those days in Reading. Plenty of sunshine out, but also now a spring shower, which will make handling that much trickier for the players. Also makes these kicking conditions that much trickier for James O'Connor. It's well struck though by O'Connor. Well struck but wide. So Irish don't put themselves in front for the first time this afternoon as James O'Connor is off target. Joe Ford with the restart tries to keep it as long but as flat as possible in order to test out the handling skills of Andy Femby. The Welshman does well. Try scorer for Irish, then hoists the big kick. Askett's underneath it, and Ford is found by him and chips it across, where Geraghty slightly misjudges the bounce but looks for Marlon Yard to stay with him. Now Yard must keep his eye on the ball and chase this kick down. Askett is underneath it. Marlon Yard flies in with the tackle, gets some support from Fergus Mulcrone. It was untidy ball. Harrison stands over it, and Sir Thomas O'Leary's the player who's come up with it, and he has support from Mike Mayhew. That greasy ball goes forward though, and it'll be a scrummage to Sale. Well, Matt Parr disappointed there. Nick Rouse, the player who also lost it forward.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Well, Cliff manages to get the ball in. It's a good nudge from Irish, but Cliff, through that Channel 1 ball, manages to get it back, where Askett then tries to kick it off the outside of his boot. Terrible misjudgment there from the former London Welsh 15. And apologises to his teammates, as it will now lead to a line out right the way back from where he kicked it. Tricky ball to deal with, this one, for Mike Mayhew, but it means that Irish have possession of the ball right up on the 22 inside the Sale Sharks half. Mayhew goes towards the back of the line. It's turned down to Trevor Annis, flings it long to Geraghty, moved quickly to Cowan. Cowan takes it into contact with the support of O'Connor. Trevor Annis there quickly as well. O'Leary out to Geraghty again, into Homer, who joins the line. Mulcrone looks to support the fullback. O'Leary again. Comes to a bit of a standstill as Mayhew is unable to make any ground up at the edge of the 22. Ball is played on there by McDonald. Here's Geraghty again. Very flat lines of defence from Sale if they're going to be broken. But crossing awarded against James O'Connor, so it's going to be a penalty here to Sale, and once again an opportunity to clear the lines. A grimace from Trevor Annis. Ford redresses the direction he's going to kick the ball and finds touch around 10 metres into that London Irish half. So half of the first period played now. Still nothing to separate the two sides, 7 points apiece. Tommy Taylor has been consistent in the line-out. Throws to the back, but that one wasn't straight. And an optimistic attempt there, with the ball getting ever greasier out there after that little burst of rain we had just 5 minutes ago. As a consequence, London Irish will pick up the scrummage. Thomas O'Leary already with the ball in hand.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Well, Irish found a really good nudge when they were pushing against the put in from Sale. This time they hold it strong, and O'Connor comes at great pace, goes through Ford and Tuitupu, popped on to Marlon Yard, who was coming on a very narrow line of running there, a line to the ruck. O'Leary's been wrapped up, so Blair Cowan comes in to act as scrum half. Cowan offloads, and the ball kept alive well by Jeb Sinclair, although the defence is good, and Gaskell manages to rip it back for Sale Sharks. Cliff comes down that short side. Cliff, round one tackle, now offloads it. They've got numbers out here. Tuitupu decides to go himself, looks for the inside pass to Askett. Brilliantly rounded off by Sale, who go back into the lead. All made by Will Cliff, and then Sam Tuitupu, the skipper, finding the inside pass, and Tom Askett goes over for his third try of the season. His first since the 19th of April up against the Chiefs. Brilliantly rounded off. And exploiting that small gap down the short side. It is a fine try. Well, so far, Joe Ford has been on target with his one kick at the posts, which was from right out on the left-hand touchline. This one easier as far as the angle is concerned. So once again, Joe Ford manages to get the extras. A brilliant break down that short side. Fired to Liotta. Great explosive pace from Johnny Liotta, and then the support coming on the inside from Askett. Can Irish find the immediate reply like they did last time? Liotta is there again. Cliff, architect of the second Sale Sharks score of the afternoon. Homer underneath it. The lead 14 points to 7. Homer tried to pick that one up, but in the end he has managed to get hold of it as it slipped out of the hands of Andrei Ostrakov. It will be a scrum down to London Irish just inside Sale territory. So far, the referee hasn't had too disappointing an afternoon at the set scrummage, which he'll be relatively pleased about. O'Leary advised to get the ball in as quickly as possible. The Sale fans in good voice again as Irish look to find a way back into this match once more. Tom Homer managed to cut back inside. Tuatupu makes the tackle. O'Leary. Geraghty flings it long. It's well collected in the end and then shipped on quickly where Blair Cowan was standing out on the wing, and the Kiwi cuts back inside. Ball set for O'Leary. There was a small gap there for Rouse to exploit, and Mark Easter knocks the ball backwards. The referee's whistle goes. Lying on the ground, Halavatau. Well, a catalogue of errors there, and then the penalty going dead, so it means a 22 for Sale Sharks. Askett feigning the quick one, but instead throws the ball back to Joe Ford. So another chance for Sale to clear, and Ford tries to put it as long as he can. Blair Cowan is underneath it, but so is Tom Homer, who steadies himself. And there's the nudge from Homer up to his opposite number. Askett flung back inside, and now the up and under from Ford, where Geraghty will wait for it with plenty of time. Shane Geraghty returns the favour. And a penalty awarded, and a first yellow card. Looks as though it could be coming out of Greg McDonald's pocket here.
okay? There's no need in playing someone straight in front of you and block the kicker, okay?
Well, I think he thought about the yellow card, and then David Seymour
Blocking.
has to come across and just tell his player that there's no need for that, and as a consequence, unbelievably, a second missed kick for the corner from London Irish. Will Cliff, the player who very nearly ended up finding himself with a yellow card. Irish yet again have failed, and Brady takes a quick one. He's got support. Will Cliff twists and turns out of the tackles. Blair Cowan, who went foraging for it, unable to get his hands on the ball. Here goes Tuatupu. Bursts through 2 tackles before setting it again. Cliff flicked out wide. Held up in support, and this time Michael Patterson drives forward. And again Harrison. Cliff. Well, they can't get through present the gain line. Gaskell had a relatively quiet afternoon so far. The number 8 going to Wasps, of course. Arscott into the line. Arscott just pops it back inside, where Henry Thomas brings it forward up to that 10-metre line. Cliff again. Great line of running from Tommy Taylor to carry the ball over the gain line. Very flat lines of running being employed by Sale, and they're going to have a penalty anyway. What can Tuatupu create? He ducks around 1 tackle, gets straight back up and has support from Henry Thomas into the 22. Johnny Liotta is there as well. Liotta picks and goes. Well, Johnny Liotta is penalised from not entering the ruck from behind the last person's feet, but they will come back for the penalty anyway. And Sharks with the advantage being played, and they can go for goal here to nudge themselves into what will be a 10-point lead. Two from 2 so far for Joe Ford. It's by far the easiest kick he's had this afternoon. And he obliges by kicking it straight and true. So a first penalty of the afternoon from Joe Ford. Tuatupu and Liotta making a real menace of themselves through the centres as Geraghty restarts play once again. Mark Easter underneath it and driven back well there by Mulcrone and O'Connor.
Use it!
Well, Cliff looks to try and get it away, and he has found touch, but he's only managed to clear it a few yards outside of the Irish 22. Mike Mayhew. Under 10 minutes to go until the interval. London Irish 7, Sale Sharks 17. Ball eventually grasped there, flung very flat and straight to Trevor Rannis, who gets over the gain line. O'Leary comes down the short side, has support, back inside to Jeb Sinclair. Homer knocks it forward, and it'll be a scrummage to Sale. Well, you'd have to say at present the London Irish are enjoying the lion's share of the possession, but they are not enjoying the lion's share of the points. 10 points the difference as Sharks lead them 17-7.
Let's go, the guys, Marcus here. Let's go. Crouch! Bind! Set!
Wilcliffe with the put in. For the ball, almost got obstructed there by his number 8's feet. Ball popped back inside where Tuitupu carries it forward. Cliff again. Forward, can't kick into touch because the ball was taken into his own 22, but he clears long where Femby collects it. And now Tom Homer finally with a chance for a bit of counter-attacking play. Marlon Yard was the mark man there. Mulcrone goes outside his man, eventually grounded by Liotta. Homer driving over it quickly, so was Yard, but then the ball came loose. So Leary keeps it in play as Mark Easter went foraging for it. And finally they will come back as the linesman's flag rather belatedly goes up on their far side. Some form of hand injury being nursed by Mark Easter. Quick check of the wrist for the Sale Sharks' first try scorer this afternoon. Tommy Taylor, once again Patterson rises to collect the ball well. Gaskell keeps it compact in the maul, and immediately the Sharks steal 5 or 6 yards. Tommy Taylor hands it back to Seymour, and now it's David Seymour who's calling the shots as they come up towards halfway, and that travelling Sale support in good voice again. Tommy Taylor goes down in the middle. Cliff out to forward, little chip over the top looking for Liotta. O'Connor managed to get a hand to it. Tuitupu, he managed to get a hand onto it. Arscott comes up with the ball looking for support. He's scragged to the ground, still around halfway, driven over by Ingle. Forward keeps it in hand this time. It's flung wide, and in the end the attempted pat out wide from Gaskell went forward, so it should be a scrummage here to London Irish.
Not forward into touch, scrum along that option.
5 minutes to go until the interval. London Irish really do need the next ball. As of yet, we've seen nothing of Marlon Yard. This, of course, his last appearance in the green of London Irish here at the Madejski. Well, Greg McDonald there, just making the mark. Once again, to compliment the referee and the two packs for their performance at the set scrum.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Slowish ball. Trevor Rannis is looking for it. Well controlled from Irish, and they pick up the penalty. Now, who's going to take the ball here? The answer is Geraghty. And it spills over in the front row. Claire Cowan just instructs the players not to rise to the bait on offer from Harrison. Geraghty mustn't miss touch this time, and almost overcompensates by finding touch just inside the Sale Sharks 22. Attempted to go too close to the line the last two occasions that he's been able to kick for the corner, and both have missed and resulted in 22s for the visiting side. untidy line-out ball again, collected well at the back. Ball lost forward by London Irish, so Sale have the chance to clear it, and they do through Will Cliff, but he only succeeds in picking out Marlon Yard, but the referee will bring them back. The advantage not benefiting Irish there, and so Shane Geraghty coming over to have a word. So Irish, in spite of all of their possession, all of their territory and all of their pressure, just have the one try to show for it. A quite brilliant score it was after 6 minutes from Andy Femby. But up the other end, they've conceded tries from Mark Easter and Tom Askett. And there's also been a Joe Ford penalty goal, along with 2 conversions that mean, as we run into half-time, it is the visiting side who lead by 10, 17 points to 7. For the first time this afternoon, the scrum goes down.
Scrimmage at a height you can maintain, please. Heads above hips. Crouch! Bind! Set!
Penalty awarded against Sale. And London Irish certainly winning in the front rows at the moment. And another last word from Mike Mayhew. He felt it was necessary for Henry Thomas and Ross Harrison to hear. Disappointment for Henry Thomas. Knows he's under the microscope. 6 England caps already to his name. A name that's being floated around as a potential man to be going down to New Zealand. He needs a bigger performance than this one. Well, the decision, considering the state of the game, a sensible one. James O'Connor going at goal. He's missed one, but this would bring them back to within a converted score. Missed a relatively similarly positioned kick, although it was a bit further out earlier on in the half, which would have put Irish into the lead, 10 points to 7. On that occasion, the rain started falling just as O'Connor was preparing to kick.
We have got time to kick off.
Well, this time O'Connor is on target. He goes 2 from 3 for the afternoon. Irish back to within that converted score. They're up to 10. It's Sale leading by 7, 17 points to 10. And just time to kick off here in the first half. The restart then from Joe Ford. This time he gets it in the right sort of place. Lack of communication between Marlon Yard and Nick Rouse, but it doesn't matter because Yard does eventually come up with the ball and he hoofs it into touch. And there is the half-time whistle from Greg McDonald. The dream start for the Sale Sharks, chasing that record 6th win away from home in the Premiership, scored by Mark Easter. An immediate riposte coming from Irish through Andy Femby. Then we saw Tom Askett go over for a try on 22 minutes to put the Sharks back into the lead. And then there's been an exchange of penalties between Joe Ford and James O'Connor. That means the score at the interval here at the Majeski is London Irish 10, Sale Sharks 17. Shane Geraghty then gets us underway for the second half here at the Majeski, and immediately the ball's collected by Mark Easter. And the ball released back there to Joe Ford. The referee indicates that will be a penalty to the Sharks. So once again, Irish ceding good territorial advantage straight away. Thomas O'Leary, the penalised player on this occasion. Ford, whose kicking from hand was at times rather questionable in that opening period, with an early opportunity to find touch, which he accepts gratefully and sends play into Irish territory on the 10-metre line. Half-time score then of London Irish 10, Sale Sharks 17. Two changes being made by Irish at the interval. Jimmy Stevens and Kieran Lowe coming on to replace Mike Mayhew and Ian Goff respectively.
Guys, move that side of the line, please. Yeah.
Tommy Taylor misses his man for the first time this afternoon, and O'Leary gathers it well and gallops over halfway. Looking for support here from Andy Femby, the Irish try scorer, into Geraghty. Manages to find O'Connor. O'Connor with good hands, sifling it out wide. Tom Homer had to reach very low to collect that. He does well in the end. Blair Cowan acting as scrum half to get it out to Geraghty again. It's a little static at the moment for London Irish as the ball goes into the hands of Matt Parr. And as he's brought to ground, the Sale Sharks have managed to pick up possession here. Trevor Annis hands the ball over, and it will be a Sale scrummage. Well, a good gathering of fans come down from the north of England to support this one. And so far they've been rewarded for their loyalty. Ross Harrison, Tommy Taylor and Henry Thomas lining up in the front row against Matt Parr, and now Jimmy Stevens and Leo Halavatau for London Irish. Cliff manages to get the ball in. It's gone down in the front row, but should be released here by Cliff, and he decides to come at this near side and popped off by Ford into the hands of Tuitupu. He's got Johnny Liotta in support. Gaskell gets over the ball as well. Cliff again comes down the short side. Mark Easter not able to get that clear and barging forward. Ross Harrison just makes a couple of yards. Cliff again gets the ball into hand where it's collected by Henry Thomas. Thomas drives through the tackle. Seymour over the ball. Ford gets the return pass. Flat ball into the hands of Tuitupu from Johnny Liotta. Tuitupu picks up and drives again. It'll be a penalty to Sale Sharks. Halavatau, the player, penalised on the ground. In these early exchanges of the second half, be interesting to see what the decision is here from David Seymour. I should imagine he will elect to go at goal. The decision is to kick down to the corner, and Joe Ford finds a good touch which will take play 10 metres shy of the Irish line. How costly is that Leo Halavatau mistake going to prove to be? Well, Tommy Taylor has been mostly reliable when throwing the ball in. He goes to the front of the line where Patterson collects, and Patterson drives forward. The Kiwi lot making some good ground there. There's some support from Ostrakov, the big Russian number 4. They keep it tight again. Harrison with the assistance of Mark Easter as Sale keep the ball tight. Hacked away, but picked up by Gaskell. He's tackled by Geraghty, who tries to kick the ball away from the Sale Sharks arriving player, who was Tommy Taylor. Tommy Taylor manages to get over the ball. It's going to be a penalty to Sale. And again, Jeb Sinclair is penalised. Second time this afternoon he has been penalised, and Tuitupu wants the ball. A little bit of Antipodean rivalry there. Jeb Sinclair, of course, a Canadian international, but born in Australia.
Wait, no.
And Tuitupu.
Whoa, 10. Okay, line's
Hailing
yours.
from New Zealand, but
Line's
the
yours.
referee calling back that penalty. They had every opportunity. Will Cliff sprinting through, and in the end the decision will be for Joe Ford to kick a goal.
Hey guys, not now, not penalties please.
beg Jeb Sinclair's
Guys,
pardon.
line,
He
please.
was in
Line.
fact born in Canada, starting to invent people's places of birth. 32 Canadian caps was indeed correct. He is going to be the man playing at standoff for the opposition, Joe Ford, who has this early shot at goal. A relatively simple shot at goal it is too, and so far Ford from the kicking tee is 3 from 3. Three points added. It takes the Sale Sharks tally up to 20 for the match. They lead by 10 again. 20 points to 10, the advantage for the visiting team. And they are at present closing in on that record away from home for the Sale Sharks in the Aviva Premiership. A very proud record it will be too. One that they will look to build on at the start of next season. A season where Steve Diamond is determined to get them into a playoff berth at the end of the regular season. Shane Geraghty gets play back underway, and charging in to challenge comes Fergus Mulcahrone, who makes the tackle. Brady gets it back, and Cliff whips it back into the path of Ford, who was deep on his own dead ball line before getting that one clear, and touch judge continues to run. Taken quickly, Officer Trevor Annis cuts back inside on halfway. Marlon Yard is hauled to the ground. Mark Jennings warns to get rid of the ball. Round one tackle goes Andy Femby, such a deceptive runner, the left winger for London Irish, and he takes play up to that 10-metre line. O'Leary back to Geraghty. Geraghty, flat ball there, carried forward by Jeb Sinclair. The Canadian takes it up to halfway. Trevor Annis decides to go on his own, but he's tackled well by Patterson. O'Leary again, this time Geraghty. O'Connor has Yard inside him. Mazy running from O'Connor before he's eventually tackled by Ostrakov. O'Leary again to Geraghty. The sun shines down in Reading. Seymour up to make the tackle. Flicked out, but a little too panicked for the liking of Shane Geraghty, who decides that he has to kick that forward with the boot. And it lands just inside the touchline and bounces out. A little closer than Shane Geraghty would have intended, but still the desired effect. Vadim Kobias and Mark Jennings, the two new arrivals for the Sharks, coming on for Santua Tupu and Henry Thomas. Kieran Lowe coming on to make his 14th appearance of the season, and his 4th season with London Irish, the back row forward who's been capped for his country, Scotland, just the once. Ostrakov in command of the ball. Sale trying to steady the ship here. Halavatau is the player who's penalised, and once again Irish let Sale off the hook. It'll be very frustrating for Brian Smith watching on here, that every time they've got themselves into a promising position, all too often London Irish have given away possession. Touch is found. And so midway between halfway and the 10-metre line, it is going to be a line out now to the Sale Sharks. Tommy Taylor, who can once again aim for Michael Patterson. Ball lost in the air though, and now Irish with a chance to counter-attack. O'Connor coming at great speed, misses out, flings it out wide to Femby with a little hitch kick back inside, has Homer in support. Femby gets it back to O'Leary. Ball sent into the path of Geraghty. They love to take it at pace, Irish, as they've shown over the last few weeks, running in countless tries, even though they might not have won since that rout of Falcons here, where they scored all 40 points in the first half. They showed great spirit against Northampton, and they also played well against the Chiefs at times. The ball into the path of Blair Cowan. The crowd try and get behind Irish. and will them over the line. They must score the next point in this one, you feel. O'Connor to Marlon Yard. Marlon Yard slice inside. Yard goes for the corner, and Yard scores. Brilliantly finished off by the England winger. Set up by O'Connor once again. Irish straight back into it. And Marlon Yard, who already has his best return for a Premiership season, adds to that tally. Now 8 tries this time. Great work from James O'Connor. And then Marlon Yard sliding inside the outstretched arm of Tom Arscott before finishing off in the corner in style. Well, he was largely anonymous in the first half. Marlon Yard, in this his final appearance for London Irish, going out in style. Thumbs up all round. Scored his first try of the season against Saracens on the opening day of the season. Had a brace against Worcester, one against Exeter, hat-trick against Gloucester last weekend. And now he has an 8th try of the season. Shane Monaghan, the other man who scored a hat-trick last weekend, has one to his name today as well for Gloucester. Tricky kick this one for James O'Connor. Still just under half an hour to play here at the Madejski. That is world-class kicking from James O'Connor. He's missed one this afternoon. If he got it, they would be on level terms. Instead, they trail by just 3. Irish up to 17 after this brilliant score from Marlon Yard. It's the London Irish 17, Sale Sharks 20. And definitely nothing about the going through the motions here at the Madejski this afternoon. Both teams committed to playing running rugby and both teams committed to winning. Joe Ford gets us back underway. Geraghty is underneath it and smartly transfers the ball onto his boot to clear up towards halfway. Another change is made by London Irish. Halabatau leaves the field of play to be replaced by Jamie Hagan. Hagan coming on to make what is his 18th appearance of the season, 13th off the bench for London Irish so far this term in his first season from Leinster. Tommy Taylor. Pressure starting to build on the young hookers. Line out throwing, missed a few. So 2 tries apiece for the teams here. The ball is collected well by Patterson, and again Sale look to use the maul. It's controlled well and driven forward by Vadim Kobias. Tommy Taylor in control of the ball. Gaskell now drives with Easter. It's Mark Easter who has possession of the football. A scrum cap is thrown to the floor. Flat pass from Will Cliff, which goes into the path of Mark Jennings. He looks to try and take it across the gain line, but it's Kieran Lowe who makes the tackle. Cliff again. Taylor carries it forward. Cliff fired out into the backs. Gaskell loses possession of it, just manages to scramble it back. It was knocked forward though. And Gaskell, another of the players on the pitch who's making his last appearance for his respective club today, before moving to Wasps. Disappointed there. Bit of an extraordinary decision, his move, in my humble opinion, just considering that he's gone down there to Wasps, who have such a plethora of back row talent at present. .25 minutes left to play here in Reading. The score, London Irish 17, Sale Sharks 20. Jamie Hagan, who's only just come on. So he's being checked here for concussion. So Jamie Hagan makes his way across the field of play. As to whether he will continue or not remains to be seen. Well, the injury certainly not one that's looking as though it's been caused by concussion. As a consequence, Jimmy Stevens is now joined.
Crouch! Bide! Set!
Thomas O'Leary needs to get the ball in. McDonald tries to hurry him along. Trevor Annis picks up and goes. A little break there and a slip from Seymour. Trevor Annis unable to get the pass back inside. O'Leary gets it out to Geraghty again. Missed move, and O'Connor just tries to slide past Liotta. A desperate last-ditch tackle there from Johnny Liotta, but he makes it the Samoan centre. Up across halfway. And off the left boot this time. What a deft kick that was from Geraghty. Brilliantly corrected by Mulcahrone. Irish looking to build again. Geraghty, the architect of so much so far this afternoon. James O'Connor is brought to a standstill. O'Leary goes down that short side where he has support from Tom Smallbone. O'Leary again. Jeb Sinclair just manages to weigh pace with that gain line. Halavatau back onto the field of play after Jamie Hagan's very brief stay. Flat pass to Geraghty, got it out eventually. O'Connor tries to keep the ball clear. Certainly makes it available. Check back inside as Smallbone looked to burrow his way just a couple of yards further. O'Leary keeps it flat into Trevor Annis. Seymour makes the tackle. Has support from Tommy Taylor. Ball comes back to O'Leary. Geraghty, mismove again. Good lines of running. Femby out the back of the hand. Tried to get it to Marlon Yard. An advantage being played here to the Sale Sharks, but that advantage is kicked away. Geraghty steadies himself off the outside of the boot. This will be collected by Arscott, who can bring it back with interest should he so wish. The fullback chips it up in the air, and he was taken down. Advantage being played here. Rouse collects the ball, and the referee will put the time off, and I think he'll want to take perhaps another look at this just to see how cynical the blocking on Arscott was. Well, Smallbone not being particularly subtle there, you'd have to say. Arm outstretched and checking the player down.
17. No attempt to grasp. Take the late tackle as well. Get the timing right. 17.
Well, I'm surprised that there is no greater penalty than a penalty, as it is. It does give some good field position to Sale Sharks, who've been under the cosh for the last few minutes. So Halavatau and Smallbone, the players who came on 54 minutes for London Irish. Hagan going off, Parr going off as well. So Sale given a great attacking platform here, down on the Irish line. If London Irish can survive this particular assault without conceding any points, they will grow in confidence. Ball collected well by Mark Easter in the line. The Sale Maul has had plenty of potential this afternoon without doing any major damage. Seymour in control with Harrison. Still with the ball. They drive on. Seymour manages to get away from Blair Cowan. The tackle's made in the end by Kiernan Lowe. The referee indicates that the ball was touched down, and therefore it's going to be a scrummage now to Sale.
and 10. Let's go then, guys, please. Marcus here. Crouch! Bind! Set!
Will Cliff then with the put in. Referee not happy with that though.
Too much movement, guys. Guys, away. Away. Too much movement, resetting it. Stationary, please. Crouch! Bind! Set! Use it.
He needs to use that.
Both sets up. Reset.
They're both front row. It's going to be another scrummage. Shane Garrity wanted to have a word there.
6. Stay on the second rows. Don't creep up onto the front row. Crouch! Bind! Set!
In danger of the scrummage becoming a little untidy as the game wears on. It's well wheeled, but Irish penalised. Will Cliff thinks about taking it quickly, but David Seymour comes across to have another word. Big slap on the back, and the eventual decision here is going to be Nick McLeod will kick to the corner. So the attacking enterprise being offered by both sets of players, not in question here.
Line's yours.
Mark Jones for the first time manages to find Patterson. Ball is adjudged to be knocked on though, and the referee signals that it will be a London Irish put in, so an opportunity here to get it clear, and Nick Rouse congratulated there by his teammates for spoiling that line out ball.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Thomas O'Leary with the ball in. Trevor Ennis picks up and exploits that big gap down the short side, gets it out to Marlon Yard. Now it's a straight foot race for Marlon Yard. He chips ahead. Oscar blocked him. The crowd don't like it. Brady's back to try and bring this one clear for the Sale Sharks. Back on his feet goes Marlon Yard. A clash of the heads. Arms still outstretched from Yard. Can't believe that the referee didn't award anything for him. Will Cliff hoists the up and under. Trevor Ennis, the man who started that last move, collects and brings it forward again with Garrity in the sunshine. Lovely pass to Femby, who can take it at pace. Has O'Connor outside him. Femby cuts back inside. Femby straightens. Femby goes for the line. A brilliant try from Femby. The Welshman strikes again. Moments ago it looked like Marlon Yard was going to be in an intriguing foot race to the line, but he was blocked out of the way. Irish go into the... So Andy Femby now with 6 tries this season. All of them have come in the last month. Making his 10th start of the season as well. 6 tries from 10 starts for a winger, not a bad return. James O'Connor with the opportunity to increase the advantage to 4. That's the second miss from James O'Connor. 3 from 5 so far this afternoon. But Andy Femby, just brilliant lines of running and then just accelerating away through the gap in the defence and touching down for his second of the afternoon. Can he manage to chalk up another brace? Well, he has already chalked up another brace. Can he chalk up another hat-trick is the question. It would mean that London Irish would have produced 3 hat-tricks in the last month. No one calls for the ball, and Marlon Yard allows it to hit his shins, which very nearly saw the ball end up with Sale Sharks winging it back, but instead Thomas O'Leary now clears the ball away. Arscott goes up to collect it and manages to bring the ball forward. Marlon Yard looking to rip the ball away from the fullback, but at present Sharks have it under control. They need to find a way back. Just 2 points down. McLeod darts through and finds himself scragged by Kieran Lowe. Picked up though by Mark Jones. Carries the ball on well. Carl Kullerman has come on to replace Andrei Ostrakov. And we also have Viliami Fehaki coming on for Mark Easter. As Sale continue to ring the changes. Blair Cowan with a shake of the head as he's penalised. The opportunity for Sale to kick at goal. It'll be Nick McLeod's first attempt on goal this afternoon.
They're taking space past the ball. They've got to attack the ball, okay?
I think they're just a bit frustrated. They're on the ball.
No, they're not.
I don't think they think
Okay, they're not. We need to change that, please.
2 points the difference. So if Sale are successful here through Nick McLeod, it will mean that they put themselves back in control just by the singular point. 9 penalties and 2 conversions so far from the Welshman, and this is 6th season with the Sharks. Confined to making 7 appearances off the bench, just 5 starts so far this term. Gives it plenty of welly. And he's also dragged it wide of the posts from slap bang in front. A disappointing start from the kicking tee for Nick McLeod, and it means that Irish's fragile lead is preserved. Another check of the wind conditions there from Nick McLeod, who obviously felt that the ball was going to do more. Blair Cowan, the man who gave away the penalty, breathes a sigh of relief. .22 is charged down, and pressure here on Geraghty. Mark Jones was there.
Release 7! The ruck!
Carried forward rather desperately here from London Irish, who again find themselves in trouble. The scrum cap makes its way up towards the end of the 22. O'Leary, Trevor Rannis, tackled by Fehaki. First big challenge there from the Tongan international. Back to Geraghty, switches it onto his left foot and guides the ball well into touch. Could be taken quickly here, and then Sale decide against it. Shane Geraghty shaking his head because of this restart. Mark Jones chasing through. In the end, good reactions from Shane Geraghty. Now Jones here with this opportunity. Up on that 10-metre line. Finds Gaskell.
One man fine.
Will Cliff comes in. He's got plenty of forwards to support him there. Mark Jones taken down well in the tackle as the ball crosses the gain line for the first time. The 2 sets of fans in a rousing competition to see which can generate the most noise at the moment. It is creating quite an atmosphere here at the Majeski. Arscott. Ingle, who's had precious little to do out there on the left wing. Charlie Ingle. Driven forward again by Kirill Kulemin, 33-year-old Russian international. Check back as Mark Jennings fights his way up to the edge of the 22. Cliff goes short again. Kulemin driven back well. Big hit from Jimmy Stevens. They haven't got the numbers out here at the moment. Johnny Liotta taken to ground. The pick and go on this occasion comes from Feaki. Up across that 22. Cliff. Good contact taken by Vadim Kobias, the big Russian forward, but tackled and penalised. Greg McDonald awards the penalty, and Mark Jones has got to watch himself here. Any more back chat, and it'll be a further 10 metres up the pitch. Blair Cowan is the player who remains on the floor.
No, we're going. Let's go.
Shane Geraghty with the touch. Mark Jones producing a feisty performance, the sort of feisty performance you'd expect from him, though. Played in all bar one of Sale's fixtures this term in the Aviva Premiership. 10 of them off the bench, 11 as a starting player. Also chipped in with 3 tries, 2 of them coming against Northampton Saints, 1 home, 1 away, and 1 against Saracens. Ball collected well. Trevor Rannis has it and will be looking to exploit this short side should he get half a chance. But the rolling ball continues to gather momentum here for Irish. Trevor Rannis still in control of it. Now back to O'Leary. Geraghty, little nudge over the top again for Fulgus Mulcrone to try and get on the end of it. Mulcrone collects up to the edge of the 22. Frantic defending there from Sale. They're on the back foot here. Trevor Rannis out to Geraghty. Another little wedge over the top to Femby. Femby tries to go round the outside. This time the ball is prized away from the winger, and Arscott makes the tackle. Eventually kicked into touch by Geraghty, and it'll be a line out now to Sale, but on 5 metres from their own line. So Jeb Sinclair to be replaced. Gerard Ellis will come on once again. Ellis, who made his first London Irish start, first Premiership start against Falcons in that 40-12 rout a few weeks ago. Also scored a try last weekend as well. Delightfully wedged kick over the top, first of all to Mulcrone and then the one to Femby. Managed to feed it back inside, and then the ball kicked out by Geraghty in the end. That ball thrown to the back of the line by Viliami Fiaki. Collected it well. Cliff looks to get it clear for the Sharks, and he will find touch. And line out will be London Irish ball 10 metres outside of the 22.
I'm just waiting for your 9 anyway to be replaced.
So the whistle goes again. Nathan Fowles will come on to replace Will Cliff. Good afternoon from Cliff. Just his 4th start of the season. Come off the bench 16 times, no less, this season. Whereas Nathan Fowles has made just the 1 appearance off the bench. 6 appearances off the bench over the last 2 seasons for the 21-year-old Englishman. The ball driven up towards that try line once again. Good exploitation of the power that they're generating through this rolling maul. Ball in possession here of Jimmy Stevens. That is the one pause that they are allowed. Thomas O'Leary will look for the ball now. Driven round the fringe by O'Leary. They're going to have to try and get this down, London Irish, and then get it released. Blair Cowan has the ball available. Twists out of the tackle just to try and give enough time for O'Leary to get back into the play, but O'Leary wants his forwards to take it forward, and it's Gerard Ellis, the battering ram on this occasion. Stevens takes it again. Cowan again. Once again, the defence frantic from Sale, but they've done it from an offside position, so it's going to be a penalty here to London Irish. O'Leary fires it back to Geraghty. Geraghty kicks out to this near side where Marlon Yard will try and take it. The ball runs free and Arscott comes up with it, but the referee blows his whistle to bring them back for what will be a penalty to London Irish. Good defence on that occasion from Tom Arscott. And as it starts to rain once more in Reading, London Irish have a decision to make here. Will they go for the corner or will they go for goal? The answer is they will go for goal, trying to extend that lead up to 5 points with just around 8 minutes to play here at the Madejski. Well, Sale have their full complement of replacements on the field of play at present. Alex Lewington, Miles Dorian and Ed Hoadley still yet to be used by Irish. James O'Connor, 3 from 5 this afternoon. Not his best return. Can the Australian make it a slightly more comfortable cushion? He's not going to see them over the finish line. It will make some of those London Irish fans relax a little more. Well, the groan that collectively went around the Madejski there as soon as James O'Connor had hit that let you know that it was going wide of the far post. So Nick McLeod has the ball in hand. It's a 22 for us to get back underway. Sale still only 2 points down. They need some territory though. And Geraghty will try and ensure that they don't get it. Shane Geraghty hoists the up and under, being chased here by Thomas O'Leary. Arscott calls for it, collects man and ball, and Marlon Yard makes the tackle. Sale frantically need to get this ball up towards the other end. Gaskell takes it in a stationary position. Won't be able to get any further forward, but manages to lay the ball back here to Fowles. McLeod gets the ball across. Fatiaki, and now out to Ingle. Ingle with a little hitch kick up against Marlon Yard, who grabs him very high. The Yard does enough to bring him to a standstill. Fowles up over halfway here, wriggling free of another challenge. Sharks look to recycle. Fowles gets it out to McLeod. Irish up fast. Liotta tries to break through the tackle. Fergus Mulcrone makes the tackle. Fowles again. McLeod pops it short to Mark Jones. Up on halfway here, and the Sale fans feel momentum going in their favour. Fowles slides through 2 tackles. Here goes Nathan Fowles. No support outside him, or not quickly enough there from Johnny Liotta. Either that or he didn't hear the Samoan arriving on his outside shoulder, because he kept the ball. Gets it out to Arscott, who fills in as scrum half. McLeod flicks it along the line, went forward, and London Irish will have the put in at the scrummage, just shy of halfway. Not an afternoon to remember as far as James Gaskell's concerned in this, his last appearance in a Sale Sharks shirt. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left. Sale have to create themselves an opportunity. They have to create something, either for Nick McLeod to kick a goal or a drop goal opportunity for their standoff. As things currently stand, London Irish will be finishing on a high with a victory here at the Madejski, and also bringing an end to that run of Sale Sharks. It will be a new record for the club come what may. It's just that it was a record that they were hoping to extend. 5 wins away from home on the bounce in the Aviva Premiership, a record for Sale. Hoping to make it 6 here at the Madejski, and for large swathes of this encounter they looked as though they were going to do it. However, just a little more potency in the Irish attacking threat, and that has seen them score 3 tries to Sale's 2.
Bind! Set! Guys, we've got too much movement again. We reset it. Green ball.
Hold it, bud. Take the weight, sir.
Let's not pre-engage, please. Let's not pre-engage, please.
Watch.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
And we have free kick for London Irish, taken quickly by Thomas O'Leary, who looks for the gap to wedge the ball into. Sits up for Ascot. He brings it clear and tries to run cross-field past Elias, and then manages to dart back inside. O'Leary watched him all the way and makes the tackle. Ingle fouls. That clearance kick will find touch, but it's going to be a London Irish line out on the 10-metre line. And perhaps it would have been more prudent there for the scrum half to keep the ball in hand.
It's far too early. If you go early, I can't help that.
And Lewis Roberts continuing to have a word there in the ear of Greg McDonald.
Let's go!
Jimmy Stevens with the line
Irish,
out
just have you in.
in his first season here at London Irish after signing from Tigers last summer. Line out ball collected by Rouse, and again they will try and manipulate the ball through the driving maul. Trevor Annis
Stationary once.
in possession of it, gets it back to O'Leary, flat pass into Elias. He has the support of Femby, still on a hat-trick of course, Andrew Femby. O'Leary to Blair Cowan. Blair Cowan saw half a gap and darted through it. Gaskell brings him to ground, up to the 10-metre line. It'll be a penalty here to London Irish. They're not in too much of a rush. Gaskell steps over to try and accelerate that process.
Hands in.
And the referee signals that London Irish potentially have done enough here. Celebrations as they prepare for the clock to continue going down. David Seymour with a wry grin on his face there. The player penalised. The clock has gone down. It means that James O'Connor knows that he no longer need take too long over this, because as soon as the ball goes dead, the referee's final whistle should go. How will he sign off in a London Irish shirt? Created 2 of the tries quite brilliantly this afternoon, James O'Connor. So he has plenty to celebrate as far as this performance is concerned. Hasn't been great from the kicking tee. And he pushes that one wide. 3 from 7 in the end from O'Connor, but it's not to worry. As far as the home side are concerned, the final score reads London Irish 22, Sale 20. That run of successive victories on the road for the Sharks comes to an end at 5, as London Irish respond well from trailing at the interval to fire back and score 2 tries in the second half. Firstly through Marlon Yard, and then a second of the game from Andy Femby. A quite brilliant individual effort in the end, and it meant that all that Sharks could muster in this second period was a Joe Ford penalty 5 minutes into the half. Irish fully deserving of this victory on the final day of the season. Both teams with so much to build for the 2014-2015 season. But it is Irish who sign off the 2014 term with a victory. The final score from the Majeski, London Irish 22, Sale Sharks 20.